Same salary, same mutual fund, same discipline. One person starts their SIP at 33, the other starts at 43. At retirement, one has 5 crore rupees, the other has 1.3 crore rupees. That gap wasn't created by luck, it wasn't created by income. It was created by 1 decade of delay and 5 milestones nobody told them to hit in their 30s. I am telling you right now. You know what's a very specific kind of pain? It's that moment. It's a Sunday night, you're sitting with a cup of tea and you open your bank app just to check something. And you see that you've been earning for 8, 9, maybe 10 years now. The salary has gone up, the lifestyle has definitely gone up, and somehow your savings account looks roughly the same as it did in your mid-20s. And the worst part? You're not a careless person. You're not blowing money on nonsense. You're doing something, right? An SIP here, a little FD there. Maybe your parents keep mentioning LIC. But there's this creeping, nagging feeling that you're running behind some invisible schedule, that everyone else has figured out some money secret that you somehow missed. If that's you, if you're somewhere in your 30s and that description hit a little too close to home, then please stay with me for the next 12 minutes. Because we need to have a conversation. I'm Rohan, and I spend way too much time thinking about why intelligent, hardworking Indians reach their 40s with far less wealth than they deserve, despite doing everything the right way on paper. If you're someone in your 30s who feels like you're earning decent money but can't quite see where it's actually going, or if you know you should be investing more but somehow the month just ends before the money does, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up helping you out. It genuinely keeps this channel going. Alright, let's get into it. Here's something that sounds like good news but is actually a problem in disguise. India is now the 4th largest economy in the world. We officially crossed Japan in 2025. GDP growth for FY27 is projected between 6.8% and 7.2% according to the Economic Survey 2025 to 2026. The RBI has been cutting rates. The repo rate is currently sitting at 5.25%. On paper, the macro environment looks genuinely good for wealth building. And yet, here's what most people don't realize. Indian household financial savings as a percentage of GDP have halved in just 3 years. We went from 11% of GDP in FY 2020 to 2021 down to just 5.3% in FY 2023 to 2024, according to RBI data. Read that again. We are becoming a wealthier country on the outside and individually saving less of our income at the same time. And if you want the scary headline number, credit card outstanding debt in India crossed 2.8 lakh crore rupees by early 2025. That's more than double what it was 5 years ago. So what's happening? Here's the thing. Incomes are going up, aspirations are going up faster, and nobody sat down in our 30s and told us, okay, there are specific financial moves you must make in this decade or you will pay for it in your 50s and 60s. That's what today is. This is that conversation. Milestone 1. Build a real emergency fund, not a fake one. I know you've heard this one before. You probably have something, maybe 50,000 rupees sitting in a savings account, and you feel like that counts. It doesn't. Let me explain. Most financial advice says 3 to 6 months of expenses. But here's what that math actually looks like for a typical 30-something professional in, say, Bangalore or Mumbai or Hyderabad. Let's say your monthly expenses are 80,000 rupees. That's not extravagant, that's a decent rent, home EMI contribution, groceries, school fees if you have a kid, fuel, subscriptions, the works. 3 months of expenses means you need 2.4 lakh rupees sitting liquid. 6 months, that's 4.8 lakh rupees. Now you might be thinking, Rohan, I have a job, I have EPF, I'll figure it out. And look, I respect the optimism. But in your 30s, the nature of emergencies changes. It's no longer a stolen phone or a surprise medical bill. It's a job loss in a sector that suddenly gets disrupted by AI. It's a parent's health crisis that requires 3 lakh rupees in surgery costs in 48 hours. It's a home repair that can't wait. These are not small amount emergencies. Here's what most people also don't realize. Where you keep your emergency fund matters as much as having it. A regular savings account at 3.5 or 3% is losing value against inflation in real terms. Consider a liquid mutual fund or a high-yield savings account. With core small savings schemes like PPF, NSC and Sukanya Samriddhi, Indians are holding tens of lakh crore rupees as a vital middle-class cushion. The total small savings corpus is now well north of 22 lakh crore rupees per RBI data. But the operational emergency fund, that needs to be accessible in under 24 hours. Your action step: open a separate savings account, not the one your salary hits, and auto-transfer a fixed amount on the first of every month until you hit 6 months of real expenses. Not what you think your expenses are, what your bank statement actually says. Milestone 2. Destroy high-interest debt in the right order. This one makes most people uncomfortable, so let me just say it directly. If you have personal loan debt above 15% interest or credit card debt that you're not clearing fully every month, you are not investing. You are mathematically losing, full stop. Here's the analogy I love using. Imagine you have a bucket. You're pouring money into this bucket. Your SIP, your savings, your small investments. You feel good. You feel responsible. But there's a hole at the bottom of the bucket labeled 18 to 24% credit card debt. You are filling a leaking bucket. And the worst part, the bucket looks full from the top if you don't bend down and check. The average interest rate on personal loans in India is between 11 to 18%, and credit card revolving credit can be punishing as 36 to 42% annually. No equity mutual fund, not even the best small cap fund in the country, is going to consistently beat 36% in guaranteed terms. Now you might be thinking, okay, but my SIP is running. Isn't compounding working for me? And yes, but only after you account for the compounding working against you on that debt. The sequence matters enormously in your 30s. Keep that small initial buffer from milestone 1, your 1 to 2 months of expenses, then throw everything at high interest debt until it's gone, then top up your full 6-month emergency fund, and then aggressively invest. Doing it in the wrong order is like trying to fill a swimming pool with a garden hose while someone else drains it with a pipe. Your action step: list every debt you have with its interest rate right now, not tomorrow, right now, in the Notes app on your phone. Sort them from highest rate to lowest. That top item is your enemy. Throw every extra rupee at it before anything else. Milestone 3. Get your SIP to 20% of income, not 5%. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, and I want you to stay with me through some numbers because they genuinely changed how I think about my own finances. India's SIP culture has exploded. As of September 2025, SIP collections hit a record 29,361 crore rupees in a single month. There are over 9 crore active SIP accounts in the country. The share of equity and mutual funds in annual household financial savings has jumped from just 2% in FY12 to over 15.2% in FY25, according to the Economic Survey 2025 to 26. That's real cultural change. Indians are genuinely waking up to investing. But here's the problem with how most people do SITs. They start at 2,000 or 3,000 rupees SIP in the late 20s. That's great. Genuinely, starting at all is better than not starting. But then the salary goes from 40,000 rupees to 70,000 rupees to 1,20,000 rupees, and the SIP stays at 3,000 rupees. Because nobody came and said, hey, your investment amount needs to grow with your income. Let me show you what this actually costs you. Assume a 35-year-old, salary of 1 lakh rupees per month, currently putting 5,000 rupees into an SIP. That's 5% of income. That feels responsible, right? Over 25 years at a 12% return, that 5,000 rupees per month becomes approximately 94 lakh rupees. Now that same person, same salary, same fund, puts in 20,000 rupees per month instead, 20% of income. Over the same 25 years, that becomes roughly 3.76 crore rupees. That's not a small difference. That is a life-defining difference. That is the gap between retiring with dignity and retiring with dependence. And look, I know what 20% feels like. It feels impossible. Rohan, my EMIs are there, the school fees are there, my parents need money, I have a wedding to attend every other month in this country. I hear you. I live in India too. But here's the framework that actually works. Start where you are. If you're at 5%, move to 8%. When you get your next increment, and per RBI projections, India's economy growing at 6.8 to 7.2% means corporate India is going to continue hiring and incrementing. Top up your SIP before your lifestyle expands. This is called Step Up SIP, and every major mutual fund platform in India now offers it as a feature. One small but powerful psychological trick with Step Up SIP: set it to trigger the same month your annual appraisal lands. The logic is simple. If the increment goes directly into your SIP before it ever hits your salary account, you never develop a lifestyle around that money. You cannot miss money you never saw. Your brain won't even register the loss. This is honestly one of the most underrated behavioral finance hacks available to the average Indian investor today. And before anyone asks, yes, the type of fund matters. Long-term equity-focused SIPs have historically delivered. Data from a 30-year backtest between 1995 and 2025 showed that a simple 10,000 rupees month SIP in Nifty would have grown to approximately 3.38 crore rupees at 12.48 IRR. That's without any fancy stock picking, just consistency. Your action step? Log into your SIP right now. Calculate what 20% of your take-home salary looks like, then ask yourself, how do I bridge the gap between where my SIP is and where it needs to be over the next 2 years? Milestone 4. Lock in your insurance while you're still young and healthy. Your 30s are the sweet spot for insurance. This sounds boring, but hear me out because the math here is genuinely shocking. A 1 crore rupees term insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old male in India costs roughly 8,000 to 12,000 rupees per year in annual premium. The same policy for a 45-year-old can cost 30,000 to 50,000 or more, and that's assuming no health complications have emerged in those 15 years. But term insurance is just one piece. Here's what most people in their 30s are missing: adequate health insurance that is not dependent on their employer. I want to say that again. Your company health insurance goes away the day you switch jobs, the day you get laid off, or the day your company decides to cut that benefit. And here's one that a lot of 30-somethings are not thinking about right now. If you decide to take a 6-month sabbatical to figure out your career, pivot to a startup, go freelance, or simply decompress, which by the way, more and more people in their mid-30s are doing, you are flying completely blind medically without independent cover. A single hospitalization during that gap can wipe out 6 months of savings you carefully built. In your 30s, when you likely have aging parents, a spouse, maybe young children, that gap in coverage can be catastrophic. The health insurance market has been evolving fast, with the FDI cap in the insurance sector having been raised to 100% in Union Budget 2025 to 2026. There will be more products and more competition in this space over the next few years. Get your coverage logged in while you're young and healthy. The general rule: a family floater of at least 20 to 25 lakh rupees with a super top-up of another 50 lakh rupees for catastrophic events. And one more thing, if you have dependents, please do a proper calculation on how much life cover you actually need. A rough rule is 10 to 15 times your annual income. If you earn 15 lakh rupees a year, you need somewhere between 1.5 crore rupees and 2.25 crore rupees in term cover. Not 25 lakh rupees from some bundled policy your bank relationship manager sold you 6 years ago. Your action step: pull out your existing insurance policies this weekend. Check the coverage amount. Check if your health insurance will survive a job change. If the answer to either question is uncomfortable, fix it. Milestone 5. Start thinking about retirement, yes, now. Here's the psychological shift that almost nobody in India makes in their 30s, and it costs them dearly. We don't think about retirement because retirement feels like something that happens to old people. We're 32, 34, 36. We're in the middle of career hustle. There are kids to raise, homes to buy, parents to support. Retirement, I'll think about it in my 40s. But here's the thing, and I mean this: by the time you're 45, the math becomes brutal. Let me give you a real number to think about. If you want to retire at 60 with a monthly income of 1 lakh rupees in today's money, accounting for inflation at just 6%, you will need a retirement corpus of somewhere around 5 to 6 crore rupees by the time you retire. That sounds terrifying, but here is the beautiful, frustrating truth about compounding. If you start a 15,000 rupees per month SIP today at age 33, targeting 12% annualized returns, by age 60 you will have approximately 4.5 to 5 crore rupees. That feels almost achievable, yes? Now, if you wait and start the same SIP at age 43, you'll end up with roughly 1.3 crore rupees. Same money, same discipline, completely different outcome because of 1 decade of delay. This is why I get slightly frustrated when people tell me, Rohan, I'll start investing seriously once I sort out my car loan, or once my home loan EMI reduces, or once the kids are a little older. The urgency isn't just about discipline, it's about time in the market, and time is the only thing that doesn't come back. Now, the NPS, the National Pension System, deserves a specific mention here. It's not glamorous, but the tax benefits under Section 80 CCD, where you can claim up to 2 lakh rupees in deductions, including the additional 50,000 rupees under 80 CCD 1B, make it incredibly efficient, especially if you're in the 30% bracket and have opted for the old tax regime. Since the new tax regime is now the default in India, do check which regime you're filing under before you structure your NPS contributions around the deduction. The compulsion to not touch the money until retirement is honestly a feature, not a bug for most of us who might dip into our investments otherwise. Your action step: today, not next month, today, open an NPS account if you don't have one. Start with even 2000 rupees a month. Just start. And separately, calculate your own retirement number using the 25x rule. Take what you need annually in retirement, multiply by 25, that's your target corpus. Write that number down somewhere, you'll see it. Look, I want to end with something that isn't just a list of action steps. Your 30s are genuinely the most financially decisive decade of your life. Not because you earn the most in your 30s, you don't. That's usually your 40s and 50s. But because the financial foundations you lay now, the habits, the protection, the compounding machines you set up, those are what compound into real wealth 2 decades from now. India's savings rate is at 30.2%, higher than the global average of 28.2%, according to an SBI research report. We are, as a nation, getting better at this. The number of SIP accounts, the amount being invested monthly, the equity culture that has emerged, it's genuinely exciting. But national averages don't retire you. Your specific, deliberate, consistent financial choices in this decade retire you. The 5 milestones, one more time, quickly. 1. Build a real emergency fund, 6 months of actual expenses in liquid form. 2. Kill high-interest debt with aggression in the correct order. 3. Get your SIP to 20% of income. Use step-up SIP. Don't let lifestyle inflation eat your increment. 4. Secure yourself with proper term and health insurance while your premiums are still low. 5. Start your retirement planning now, not in your 40s. The math doesn't lie. Quick question before I wrap up. Which of these 5 milestones is your biggest struggle right now? Is it just getting started with a proper emergency fund? Is it the debt that feels like it won't end? Or is retirement something you've been pushing to the back of your mind? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely read every single one, and your answers shape the next video directly. The version of you at 55 or 60, that person can't come back and do your 30s over, but you are living those 30s right now. You have the one resource they don't: time. Use it. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Share this with one friend in their 30s who you think needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.